When my boyfriend postponed our engagement banquet for Kid, I climbed into someone else's bridal car. The first time Tanya came to the Vance estate, Mom and Dad spent the whole afternoon cooking a tableful of his favorites. The instant we took our seats at the table, his phone rang. "Big, where'd you put my lace thong? I'm out of the shower and I can't find it. You'd better come back and blow dry my hair. If you don't, I'll sleep with it wet and catch a cold, then you can feel guilty." All three of us sat frozen, exchanging looks, while Tanya pushed back his chair and headed for the door as though my parents' scowls were invisible. Determined not to waste 3 years, I grabbed his sleeve and hissed a reminder. "Tanya, you're here so we can discuss wedding plans." He answered coldly, "Kid can't cope without me. If you insist on this pointless ritual, we'll skip the engagement banquet for now." "Tanya, it's the first time you've met my parents." I tugged harder, desperate. Dad's face was already thunderdark. Mom forced an awkward laugh. "Maybe Kid is still little and her parents aren't home, she must be frightened." Tanya nodded gratefully. "Auntie gets it. My kids always clung to me. I didn't get it at all. Today mattered to us." The way he acted in front of my parents showed how much he valued me, apparently less than Kid's damp hair. Before a full minute had passed, Kid called again, voice wobbling on the edge of tears. "You've been at her place too, Alex. 16 minutes. If you're not back in 14, I'm skipping dinner." Minute perfect. It sounded like a jealous contest to me. Staring at Tanya, I waited for his reply. "No way, you know your stomach can't take an empty stomach." With that he strode toward the foyer. "Why not bring Kid over? It's only a few blocks," Mom offered, still desperate to smooth things over. 3 years together shouldn't be ruined by a phone call. "Great." Tanya called over his shoulder, disappearing into the elevator. Inside the apartment, the three of us stared at the food like it had betrayed us. Mom's braised pork belly had simmered 2 Alexes, the untouched slice in Tanya's bowl had gone cold, and so had my heart. "Sweetie, your stomach's delicate, eat a bite," Mom coaxed. "Don't dwell on it," Dad said. "Once he's back we'll have a word. Some men need time to grow up." Exactly 1 Alex later, Tanya finally showed up with Kid, aka Tanya, late and unapologetic. I opened the door, curiosity winning. My jaw almost hit the floor. A kid. Try a 240-month toddler. Tanya stepped right past us, eyes fixed on the food. "What is this? Everything's so mild. Where's the heat? I like spicy." Even Mom's patience snapped. "My daughter can't stomach spicy dishes. High maintenance much?" Tanya rolled her eyes, then turned to Tanya. "Big, when she moves in, we still need spicy food every night, got it?" He flicked her nose fondly. "Of course. Your future sister-in-law's a great cook." Wait, was the kitchen now permanently assigned to me? And we'd share the marital condo with his little sister. I glared, waiting for explanations, but Tanya kept stroking Tanya's hair. "I've already promised Tanya the master suite. We'll take the nursery, and the guest rooms for my parents. You don't mind, right?" 2. Only a saint wouldn't mind, and, crucially, he'd never asked. "Tanya, my family paid half for that condo. Why is every bedroom reserved for yours?" I asked quietly. He flushed. "Your house, my house, once you marry me we're one family." Mom and Dad's brows snapped together. Before they could speak, Tanya jumped in front of Tanya. "Not even married and she's counting bedrooms. Marry Big and yours becomes his, and his becomes mine." She pouted at him. "See? I told you this woman doesn't love you like I do." "Love? Since when does a sister tell her brother I love you like that?" I was 2 seconds from booting the freak siblings out when Mr. and Mrs. Field burst in, breathless, clearly acquainted with their daughter's theatrics. "Future in-laws," Mrs. Field simpered. "Tanya's still a child, don't take it to heart." Mom and Dad swapped looks. Elders had arrived, no slamming the door now. They swallowed their anger and invited the Fields to sit. Tanya had me in her crosshairs the moment I touched my chair. "Scoot. Only I sit next to Big." I ignored her. "Big, she's glaring at me and we're not even related yet." Tanya whined. "No prob, sit on Big slap." He patted his thigh. She slid onto him, arms around his neck, eyebrow arched in triumph. We watched, speechless. That wasn't the end. She pointed at the poached shrimp. "Big, Peel. Tanya parked the entire platter in front of him and started shelling, feeding her one translucent shrimp at a time. Watching him serve her like that made my skin crawl. Now the opening call about lace underwear finally registered as sick. Mom managed a brittle laugh. Close siblings, her? I gave a cold snort. Sure, close enough for vows. Let's cancel our engagement banquet and hold an adoption ceremony instead. It's not, Tanya. Climb down. Tanya finally noticed my rage. His hand brushed my arm. Tanya slapped it away. Don't touch her. She tightened her chokehold on him. Big said I'm the one he'll love forever. Big, you'll wash my panties forever, blow dry my hair forever, and peel shrimp for me forever, right? 3. Tanya stroked Kid's head dotingly and promised without missing a beat, of course, Big will spoil you for life. Then, full of confidence, he asked me, Shiloh, once you're my wife, you'll love Kid too, yeah? The question froze me. Love? This kid who acts like the other woman? My father's face flushed scarlet. With a crack he slammed his chopsticks onto the table. In all my decades I've never seen a 20-year-old kid still sitting on Big's lap. Your family's shamelessness is your business, but you expect my daughter to marry into that circus? Shiloh won't even let Tanya hold her hand. What kind of marriage is this? She'd sign up for lifelong celibacy. When Dad's words cut that deep, the silent Mr. Field finally stood and tugged Tanya's arm. No. Tanya buried her head in Tanya's chest and sobbed, Big, do I have to be separated from you just because you get married? They're the ones with filthy minds, seeing filth everywhere, why blame me? Tanya hugged her head, heartbroken, then turned on me. Shiloh, you promised you'd be a good sister-in-law. How can you let your dad insult us like this? Their little brother kid act made me laugh in disgust, and the words slipped out. My God, I never knew your cute kid was this shameless. Shiloh. What do you mean, talking about Tanya like that? Tanya's voice was hot with anger. Over some petty nonsense you'll blow up in front of both parents. I glanced at the 4 elders, each face different, yet all here for Tanya and me. I drew a long breath, steadied myself, and tried to speak my mind. Tanya, we haven't had it easy. I kept my tone calm. If we're serious about marriage, I need your heart in our little family. If we had no house I'd stay quiet, but everything's ready. Now I'm asking that kid not but into our life. My cheeks burned as I spoke, memories of 3 years pricked my nose till it stung. No. Tanya didn't even think, he shot me down flat. Tanya and I are family for life, that won't change because of you. If you love me you should love my family. If you can't stand Tanya, there's nothing left to discuss today. Let's cool off for a few days. When you're clear-headed, we'll talk. His finality brought tears to my eyes. I'd waited for this day with such joy only to watch it become our breakup. After a few minutes of silence I wiped my face, gave a cold laugh, and stood to open the front door. If there's nothing to talk about, take your family and get out of my house. When Tanya saw how hardline I was, he tried to argue. Mom, long past restraining herself, shouted, out. Don't you ever come near my daughter again. As they left they looked aggrieved, still muttering. Unbelievable, jealous of Big's kid. Dad wanted to chase them down, but I held him back. Don't waste breath on human trash. I thought Tanya and I were done for good. I never imagined that a few days later Tanya would march into Elite, the matchmaking firm where I work, Tanya on his arm. Shiloh, I've got the perfect fix for our problem. Hand me a few of your VIP client files for Kid. Once she's living in a mansion driving a matte black, she won't have to room with us. Everybody wins. 4. I looked the inexplicably confident Tanya up and down. She glared back, then simpered. If it weren't for Big, I'd never give those gross men a chance. I swallowed the urge to vomit and answered professionally. 100,000 a year, pay up front and I'll arrange introductions today. Shiloh, money's made you crazy? You charge me to find men for Kid. Tanya was genuinely angry, stabbing a finger at me. Those profiles are sitting in your computer, hundreds at a click. Don't be disgusting. If I didn't still love you and want to marry you, I'd never let Kid date strangers. I was stunned. Our VIP list is creme de la creme. Tanya wanted me to hand it over free while guilt-tripping me. Tanya, your family's abacus beads are hitting me in the face. I skipped further talk, flagged security, and had them escorted out. Next morning my manager called. Shiloh, what the hell? I opened my inbox to a dozen complaints saying you leaked client data. Any one of them could bury me. If you can't explain, I can't keep you. Tana and Kid had asked for files yesterday. Complaints poured in today, had to be their doing. Imagining the chaos Tanya could unleash, I broke into a cold sweat. Without wasting a second, I rushed to Elite. Inside manager Shu's office, Tana hugged trembling Tanya in the corner. Several butler types sprang up the moment they spotted me. Shiloh, have you no shame? You had your sister-in-law send filthy messages to our young masters. Professional suicide, abusing your post, and so shamelessly. Before I could speak, Tana grabbed my arm, all accusation. Shiloh, Kid followed your instructions. You said the men wouldn't mind, they'd be flattered. If you hadn't forced her to butter up clients, would a 20-year-old virgin throw herself at men? Manager Shu shoved me Tanya's messages. Every line began, Shiloh told me to. Trapped between three sides, I couldn't exhale. I shot Tana a furious glare, then managed, I didn't do this. Give me time, I'll prove it. Prove what? The harassment happened. We've already sent cease and desist letters, get ready to pay damages. You're the only one with access to those clients, let's see you clear your name. At that moment Tana pulled me aside. Admit in there that you gave Kid the files and coached her lines. As long as Kid didn't steal data, the cops can't touch her. She did it so we can marry. Now you have to take responsibility. Rage shot to my skull, but years of Elite training kicked in. I quietly hit record on my phone. I sighed, feigning the look of someone compromising for love, and asked softly, Tana, after the showdown that day I never went back to the shared loft, so how did you two still get hold of those client files? Tana exhaled in relief. I know you always copy the important stuff by hand into that little black book as a backup. You refused to hand the files over that day. I knew you were just trying to rile me up so I'd beg. But asking Tanya to marry already feels like a slap to her face. If I begged you to, she'd feel even worse. So I took charge and gave your notebook to her, hoping she'd finally see you in a better light. By the time he finished, a whole flock of crows seemed to fly across my forehead. I drew a deep breath and apologized to every family representative in turn. After all, tangling with this brother-kid duo was my own doing. Then, under everyone's gaze, I opened the voice memo on my phone. My sincere apologies, everyone. The truth is, Tana and I have broken up. Although I didn't voluntarily leak your information, my carelessness gave them the opening they needed. I accept whatever penalty the company decides. Manager Shu's face was iron as he stared at Tana and Kid. If you stole citizens' personal data, this stops being simple harassment. Several steward-looking men also pulled out their phones and started dialing. The cease and desist letter needs upgrading, we want criminal charges pursued. Tana gaped, then snarled at me, Shiloh, you vicious bitch, are you trying to get Tanya killed? I gave a cold laugh and opened the security footage from the shared loft living room. I'd installed the camera secretly to record Tana's proposal, but instead of a happy moment I'd captured the backstabbing. On screen, the brother-kid pair nestled together on the couch. That bitch still wouldn't hand over the files, but we got them anyway. My Tanya's so gorgeous, she'll marry into the upper crust with no problem. Just remember to keep calling Shiloh sister-in-law so outsiders don't gossip. Big, once you marry her, will you stop loving me? How could I? Once you're married, will you stop loving me? Love you, of course I love you, love my big most of all. Marriage is just for show. The exchange made every normal person in the room queasy. Manager Shu couldn't help muttering, I've been in this business decades, seen every flavor of twisted. You too are a special breed of freak. The facts were clear. Tanya burst into wails. Shiloh set me up. She refused first, then planted the notebook so I'd steal it. She seduced me into taking it. Her logic was so loopy I didn't even bother rebutting. Tanya, save the tears for the cops. At the word police, Tana's face crumpled. He hissed, Shiloh, you're cutting every last bridge, don't you still want to marry me? I widened my eyes in mock horror. Tana, the size of your ego is astounding. My mother told you that day to stay the hell away. Are you deaf? Kid yanked Tana's arm. Big, only you're dumb enough to keep trying to please her. All she does is scheme against you. Let's go, never speak to her again. Kid dragged him toward the exit, but Tanya stayed planted, eyes locked on me. You two don't think this is over, do you? Manager Shu sighed. Cops are already downstairs. Running now just piles on the charges. A week later the verdicts came down. The company had wanted only to dock me 6 months bonus, but I still handed in my resignation. Tanya and Kid received matching penalties, civil damages alone topped $1 million. Tanya personally drew 3 years. Rumor said the trust fund set she targeted loathed her, so her stretch inside would be memorable. Days later Tanya blocked my way at the Vance estate gates. Shiloh, Kid and I have paid too much for us to walk down the aisle. Let's stop fighting and reconcile. Once your family chips in the $1 million plus, we marry. He looked pitiful. Neighbors began to whisper. Looks like Shiloh's boyfriend came to apologize. Girls these days, so dramatic, always testing a man's love, zero respect for male pride. I heard she was jealous over him kissing Kid at the parents' meeting, and that's why it turned into a showdown. If I didn't speak up, my parents would suffer the gossip, so I snapped loud and clear, your kid is in jail because she stole private data and shamelessly spammed sleazy selfies. I've already quit my job. I'm not suing you, and you still dare demand money? I spelled everything out, including the raunchy lines Tanya had spouted. Elderly listeners clamped hands over nearby children's ears and scolded Tanya as they left. Those who remained laughed in his face. Kids today are this kinky. Coaching her brother on how to hook men must be desperate for cash. Squirming, Tanya tugged my sleeve. Shiloh, my kid is your kid, we're family. Don't keep punishing her. Your family only needs to pay $1 million, we'll cover the rest. We planned this so we newlyweds won't start life in debt, your side ought to support that. I stepped back, revolted, refusing even the brush of his sleeve. My dodge enraged him. He hissed under his breath, Shiloh, my family opposed us from the start. I fought huge pressure to reach the altar. Yet the moment I hit trouble you dumped me, typical selfish cow. I rolled my eyes. If I'm such a headache, let's make this the last goodbye. I walked off, thinking the drama was finally finished. Who knew the next morning the whole Field circus would stage a fresh performance at the gates? Mrs. Field wailed, my poor children, ruined by Shiloh, one jailed, one heartbroken, so distraught he might take his life. Behind her, 2 aunties stretched a white banner inked in black, gold digger Shiloh, played with love, wrecked lives, stole money. They chanted, shameless witch, come out and apologize. Bitch, pay up. Security tried to hustle them away, but the aunties returned daily, louder each time. Some neighbors swallowed the tale and started side-eyeing my parents. The neighbors were driven crazy too, and they had to come to the Vance estate to hint, very politely, that we ought to wrap this up fast. I was just pulling out my phone to set a meeting with Tanya when a call came in from an old VVIP client of mine, Zavia. Miss Vance, you turned me down plenty of times. Now that I'm no longer your client, may I finally court you? To prove my sincerity, I'll clear the trash from your doorstep first. 7. It seemed I didn't even have to show my face. Within minutes the street below went dead quiet. Zavia put it bluntly, calling the cops on the shameless never really works. The saying it takes a monster to grind a monster fit the Field family perfectly. A few tattooed heavies loomed, muttered a couple of threats, and the aunties dropped their protest banner, abandoning Mrs. Field in the dust. But simply driving them off was far from enough for Zavia. Those trust fund kids who'd been harassed were all in his circle. With a few well-placed hints he coaxed the WhatsApp screenshots out of them. Once the personal data was blurred, Tanya's shameless gold digging spilled across the internet. #psycho chick doxes her way into high society. The raunchy messages sounded straight out of a brothel. Zavia also hired a top-tier influencer to post the footage-eyed shot of the siblings cuddled up together, then paid commenters to drop cryptic hints until the whole story surfaced. Once Big's heartfelt confessions to Kid were on full display, the net exploded. Holy hell, 20-something and still needs Big to wash his boxers? If marriage is just for show, what are they, full-on incest? This chick's basically a city bus, ridden so hard she forgot shame exists. Glad she dumped him, marry into that and you'll gag on the dysfunction forever. Zavia's strike was fast and brutal. The gap in power left the Fields without a single card to play. Once Tanya's address was doxed, helpful citizens swarmed the house. Some hammered the door at midnight, Others splashed red paint across the threshold. When Mrs. Field stepped out for groceries, random strangers pelted her with wilted lettuce. Even Mr. Field's poker buddies suddenly had full calendars. To stem the bleeding, the whole family knelt at the Vance estate gates, begging me to let them sell the marital condo so they could scrape together damages. I'd wanted a clean break anyway, selling suited me perfectly. That evening, I finally said yes to Zavia. In the private dining room he slid my chair out like a gentleman, then murmured to the chef, "Miss Vance can't handle spice. Keep the dishes mild flavor." "How did you know what I like?" I asked, curious. Zavia flashed a heart-stopping grin, eyes shining on mine. "When I like someone, I learn her, and I take care of her. Life isn't the same no matter who you share it with. I'll shower you with grand romantic gestures, because they prove how much you matter." He seemed to be side-eyeing someone else, and I couldn't help laughing at the old me. Scenes from the past weeks replayed, the Fields belittling me, the false accusations, losing my job, the aunties harassing me day in, day out. If not for Zavia, who knew how long I'd stay tangled with them? "You're absolutely right," I said, lifting the crystal flute, cheeks already flaming before I sipped. "I'm dying to see how many surprises my new boyfriend has in store." The second I gave him the title, joy blazed across his face, unfiltered. "Shiloh, thank you for letting me take care of you." 8. Even after they paid up, the Fields were still social pariahs. Their old house was uninhabitable. They slunk off to a crumbling block in a backwater part of town. On move-in day a gaggle of grannies circled, hungry for dirt on Tanya and Kid. They really full brother and sister. Word is they were caught in bed. Future sis-in-law walked right in. "I heard she aborted for Big. Poor thing." Gossip always inflates. When Tanya's company caught wind, they dredged up some petty mistake and fired him. He stormed HR. They shrugged, "Your personal conduct trashes our brand image." Total rout, that summed up Tanya now. At last he snapped and camped outside my complex. "Shiloh, I know I screwed up, please forgive me." "What exactly did you screw up?" I said sweetly. "Loving your dear Big and dear Kid. Isn't that natural family affection?" My sarcasm only fired him up. "Shiloh, you're jealous, right? Kid and I are just close siblings who grew up together, nothing else." He leaned in, frantic, trying to grab my hand. I slapped him away, disgusted. "Back off. I have a boyfriend, show some respect." "Impossible." Tanya roared. "We never broke up, we only hit a snag planning the wedding. And now, a few days later, you're with someone new? You. Who'd believe that?" I frowned. How had I ever fallen for this man? "Funny, I recall you never even discussed the wedding, too busy fetching kids' panties." "And why can't I have a new man?" "Not only do I have one, he's 10,000 times better than you." The moment the words left my lips, a supercar purred to the curb. Zavia stepped out, a cloud of Juliet roses in his arms. His eyes flicked over Tanya, no greeting, then rested on me, voice honey soft, "Flowers for the beauty." Sweet talker. "Shiloh, don't fall for these rich players, they'll use you and walk." Tanya, outclassed, went for slander. A passing girl spotted the bouquet and gasped. "Are those Juliet roses? That bunch costs like $1 million." Tanya's eyes bulged. $1 million to get laid? Are you insane? Zavia chuckled. "My Shiloh deserves the very best. Besides, since Mayor Vance has been spoiling her with these since she was little, I'd better keep up or my future wife might bolt." Tanya's face drained of color. "Shiloh, your dad bought you $1 million flowers when you were a kid. Your family's that loaded?" "My parents stay low-key, and I hate flash." Tanya had actually visited, he just couldn't read the room. Every scroll in the study is authentic, each worth 8-figure hammer prices. I lifted a shoulder, smiling. "Had you stayed instead of rushing off to find Tanya's underwear, Dad was ready to gift you the piece he just bought, roughly $120 million. Pity you missed it." Under Tanya's dumbstruck, remorse-stricken stare, I climbed slowly into Zavia's supercar. 9. 3 years slipped by in a heartbeat. Because my parents knew the Sterlings inside and out, our wedding plans moved to the front burner fast. To give me the grand romantic gestures I deserved, Zavia sketched a phoenix tiara with his own hands. When he delivered the 3 betrothal letters with absolute solemnity, my stick-in-the-mud dad grinned so hard his cheeks cramped. That day Dad broke his own rule and downed half a bottle. Mom whispered, Shiloh's finally found someone who truly treasures her. On our wedding day, Zavia's eyes never once left me. Shiloh, you're gorgeous. Good grief, you've said that 108 times already. Zavia's eyes were red, voice thick, not enough. I'll say it every single day for the rest of my life, you're gorgeous. The crowd around us roared with laughter. Zavia cried harder, like a kid, you idiots get nothing. I finally married the girl I love. I'm gonna be good to her forever. He had me blinking back tears too. So this is what meeting the right person feels like. Marriage so fills your heart you cry from joy. Then a shrill voice slashed through the warmth. Big, she's already married, what more do you want? I'm back. You don't have to come see her anymore. She's a woman, I'm a woman, whatever she can give you, I can give you too. Everyone was lost at the big and woman talk, but I understood every word. Sure enough, I turned and saw Tanya dragging Tana toward the hotel entrance. 3 years had slimmed them both. Tanya especially, only 23, yet her bags hung to mid-cheeks, face hollow. Prison must have been brutal. Tana yanked his arm free, cursing, let go. I'll look at whoever I damn please, who are you to stop me? We should have married 3 years ago if not for you, his voice quivered. He was thinking that, without Tanya's sabotage, he'd be the groom beside Shiloh today. The thought made him glare at Tanya with pure hatred. Big, you're staring at me like that. Tanya whimpered. You said you loved me first. You told me to face our feelings. Now you blame me. Head swiveled. The old interrogation sensation clawed at Tanya again. He shuddered and tried to haul Tanya away. Too late, Tanya was already unraveling. You took my first time. I was in pain, I said no, but you swore you'd treat me right, for life. Does none of that count now? The confession stunned us all. Siblings, and they went that far? Tanya clutched Tana's hand, lost in her own delusion. Big, you do love me, right? 10-inch shut up. Tana shoved her so hard she stumbled. You lunatic, what crap are you spouting? I'm your big, how could I love you? Tanya hit the floor, gaping, then screamed, really? We're step-siblings, no blood tie, and our parents are divorced now, why can't we be together? At that, Tana collapsed, head in hands, sobbing. Stop, just stop. I just turned 18, curious about sex, one stupid time. It wasn't love, just messing around. 3 years ago I told you to chase some rich kid so you'd marry out, who knew? I regret everything. Tanya, you're only kid to me, please let me go, stop haunting me. Hearing the brutal truth, Tanya's last fantasy shattered. She shot the wedding poster beside us a venomous look, rushed over, and spat full on my face in the photo. Bitch, if not for you, Big and I would be a couple. You tore our family apart, and he still pines for you, who do you think you are? She pulled out a key and jabbed it at my picture. Tana lunged, seized her wrist, and flung her to the ground. Her elbow scraped across the marble, skin tearing, blood smearing. Big, it's only Shiloh's photo, and you do this to me over it. Tana ignored her, almost trance-like, wiping my face on the poster with his sleeve. Tanya, isn't it obvious? In my heart you can't even beat a photograph of her. If this weren't Shiloh's wedding day, if I didn't want to give her good luck, I'd kill you right now. Even if I can't marry her, she's the only woman I'll ever love. If I ever get the chance, I'll be the one to blow dry her hair and peel her poached shrimp. The more he spoke, the more Tanya curled inward, moaning, no, you love only me. Hotel security finally charged in, 2 guards per sibling, dragging them toward the exit. Shiloh, I love you. Ha ha ha, Tana's laughter echoed as they hauled him away. The second they hit the curb, a psychiatric ambulance gunned its engine and sped off with them. I'm so sorry. Once quiet returned, Zavia looked at me, tense. My oversight let them crash our wedding. Always, Zavia's first thought was my feelings. I gazed at the man whose world revolved around me and burst out laughing. Crash. Watching the people who hurt me get their karmic invoice feels more like a wedding gift. Zavia chuckled with me. Since my bride's happy, may I claim a reward once we're home? What reward? I asked, puzzled. You. Zavia's eyes smoldered, deeper than ever. Heat rushed to my cheeks. I looked away. Before I could recover, Zavia scooped me into his arms, gentle yet urgent, and tucked me into the car. Shiloh, you're gorgeous. Come on, that's 109 today.